back now.
Привет, comrade. Jeeves? Enjoying your time in the Gulag? I understand you have information regarding the death of one Joseph Stalin. I would recommend that you be a little more forthcoming. This will save you a lot of pain. Very well. Don't speak. Just listen. You are a co-conspirator in a plot to assassinate General Secretary Joseph Stalin. Should you fail to comply, your family and you will be shot in the cold snow. I'm only going to ask you this one time. Honesty is best policy. How did Joseph Stalin die?
Get away from me!
Hello everyone, and welcome to Social Distance Cinema Discussion, episode 6, I think. I'm losing track of time. By now you're probably asking yourself two things. One, why would they suggest a movie about the motherland when we know there's no coronavirus cases there? And two, can I predict the future? Thanks for noticing. Yes, I can predict the future. You should give me your money to invest for you. I suggested this movie because with this and Chernobyl, I noticed a trend in world media towards aspects of Russian history. Truth be told, I think you can draw quite a bit of parallels between the events of this movie and what's been going on in modern life over the past 4 or so years. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but mainly because Hollywood and media companies are trying to draw attention to the parallels between what's happening in modern times and what happened then. And besides the comedic moments of this movie, I think Stalin and Chernobyl both portray similar aspects of why the Soviet Union ended up failing. So the fact that we can draw parallels between that and modern life is maybe not so much a good thing. But if you let me, I'll talk about politics all day, and this is a movie channel. So let's talk about what I thought was really cool here. Is that okay with everyone?
Russian press enjoyed it and said thank you for not putting on cold Russian accents. Yeah. We hate it when people do that.
Oh. I want to draw attention to the first 15 minutes in this movie because I think it's a masterclass in story writing and character development, and actually serves as its own short film. As a short film, it's a dive into the contrasting viewpoints of the Russian people at the time. Most short films start with an inciting incident, and this starts with an inciting incident. Stalin calls them and demands that he gives them a recording of the live broadcast that just went out. We're introduced to our protagonist that has a goal in trying to produce a recorded version of a live broadcast. There's even an antagonist, but it's not who you think. Stalin is largely just the premise. The fact that he murders anyone that's not on his good side is just part of their life at this point. The actual antagonist is the outspoken pianist. She's kind of the embodiment of the Russians that have the balls to stand up to Stalin. Almost said Putin. She serves as a foil for the protagonist's plans, where she refuses to play the piano because she hates Stalin's guts, and she writes a note that ultimately defeats the entire purpose of the concert managers doing anything. While this whole thing is going on, we're getting glimpses of what happens to people that are on Stalin's bad side. The concert manager just wants to keep everyone alive, and the pianist just wants to have her voice heard. That struggle should prove a point to us, the viewer. Stalin has pit everyone against each other, and that paranoia is what keeps him at the top. This is such a genius way to start the movie. We only have 15 minutes of screen time with Stalin before he dies at least, and we never see him do any of the dirty work. But we know how intimidating and scary he is just because of the reactions of other people. So if we were to break down the first 15 minutes into its own short film, it would go like this. Our protagonist accomplishes his goal by providing music for Stalin and narrowly avoiding death. Our antagonist accomplishes her goal by getting to stand up to a murderous tyrant. Their actions affect the larger world they inhabit, and Stalin's fear-mongering is his doom.
Should we investigate?
Should you shut the f*** up before you get us both killed?
I find Death of Stalin and Chernobyl to be really cool just because they started that Russian history trend and they inspired me to write a short film about Russian history. And if you're interested in that, let me know and I'll send it your way. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to listen to my incoherent rambling about this movie. I'm glad you all stuck around even though the title almost spoiled it for you. How?
Disappointed!
Something that was brought up in a lot of interviews that I watched and that I thought was interesting was approaching serious, tragic, real-life events with comedy. As Trevor and Tess pointed out, it seemed like a Monty Python sketch at points.
Look, my lad, I know a dead parrot when I see one, and I'm looking at one right now.
No, that's not dead, it's resting.
Resting?
Stalin was responsible for somewhere near 20 million deaths, but I think the absurdity really worked well for this piece. At the same time, I don't think you could do something like this for someone like Hitler, because that would be in horrible taste. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Stay up to date on Discord and social media for the next movie announcement. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Perks of Being a Wallflower, but I'm just going to check to make sure. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully, I'll see you next week.